I'm Robert Rowe and I'm the CEO of DBYD Certification Limited, and our primary role is to certify locators. So those are the people that find underground assets such as power, water, telecom, and gas particularly, those sorts of pipes and cables, and we certify them nationally. And in fact we now do that in New Zealand, and we've just commenced operations in Canada. So I think for us, TUTIS was particularly helpful. I'd actually encountered TUTIS in a previous iteration when I ran an RTO, and when we set this organisation up, which was in about 2014, we worked on all of the sort of verification of competencies that we required, and then we approached TUTIS and said, look, I know what your student management system's generally capable of. Could it be adapted for what we want? And that worked out very well. They were very responsive to our needs, and we engaged over a period of months developing the platforms, etc. And primarily we have two things going on. One is where you log in and do an online examination, written examination. It's multi-choice. That's pretty straightforward. The other area is when we do the practical examinations in the field, and that takes about 3 hours, and the assessors work with their iPads, etc., and all of that's streamed back into the TUTIS platform, and it records all the competency assessment, and that data is available for us at any stage. It's all into the system. We approached TUTIS right from the outset. Because of my background working with them and having known some of the people involved, I was pretty happy with it, and it's worked out very good for us. I'd more done that in the previous life.
Sure.
When I was running that RTO, we'd looked at a number of options, and in fact, really my civil train that I ran, the manager there had done all that work and came to me as CEO with a recommendation. I then was very satisfied with the work that TUTIS had done with us in that previous iteration.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really a no-brainer for me to stick with what I knew.
Yeah.
Especially as for us, it was important to have something that we knew could work, because there were a whole lot of other issues that we were going to face rolling a whole new program out that the market had never seen before. I wanted surety and stability around the student management system. Yes, they do. Some of the assessors work slightly differently to each other. They all obviously follow the assessment. Some of them, because they're older guys, they tend to print it out and then work it through off a clipboard, which there's no need to do.
Yeah.
But that's their style. Others fill it in on the iPad, but all of them will go, the ones that filled in on the clipboard go back at night and load it all into the system. It's just a preference of the way they want to work, but it's capable of, doing either. So I've had really no complaints from, there might have been some teething bugs which TUTIS quickly sorted out in the first couple of months in the field, but it was nothing that was major. It was more, in fact, if anything, it was more the assessors needing to get used to a slightly new way of doing things.
Yeah.
Well, I think mainly from my perspective as a CEO, and as I said, I'm not so much directly involved with it. It's just that the staff are very happy. It is pretty much trouble-free, and whenever we've wanted to build and do add-ons and do something different to what anyone else has done, we've had that capability to do it. It's the flexibility that we've found very useful. You know, I've found it's not like using some sort of database or, you know, off-the-shelf product where you can't change much. This is definitely, you know, TUTIS have always engaged with us. We've had multiple meetings over the years because as we've grown as an organisation and we've developed new products, we've had to go and think about different ways of handling all that data. And so the first port of call is to sit down with TUTIS and say, well, this is what we're experiencing, what can you do, how can you help us? And that's always been a positive experience. I would say it's more been that they've always responded quickly and efficiently, and that's probably why, you know, I just see that as good business.
Yes.
So it's that capability to come in and sit down with us and understand what our business is about, and I think that's been what's really important to me. And you know, as I've talked to the TUTIS staff, particularly at a senior level, they've quickly grasped where we're going, and I think the other thing that I've been able to, you know, felt a high level of trust, particularly when some of these conversations can be quite confidential because they're about new market products, etc. and so I've never ever sensed that that's ever been a problem, the confidentiality issue in the room. That's interesting. My view about wherever there've been problems, that's been around the student, not around the system.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that the problems have been in any way significant, but it's probably a feature of some of the people that we're dealing with that, especially if they're in an older age group, we may have to help them out in some way. So I've never sensed that it's a feature of the system and the student management system. The ease of use, the fact that they can access data. As an example, if we ever have a situation where, for instance, there's an appeal against an assessment, I will then signal the operations manager that I want those records quick smart. That's available to me almost instantaneously, and I can read through all, even though it might have happened a year or two ago. So from me as a CEO, having a look at those sorts of situations, that's very helpful. I think the other thing that's been important is that as we've expanded and had different requirements, it's been very buildable. You know, we've been able to add on different features, some of which, from a TUTIS perspective, they've said, well, no one's ever asked for this before, but they've gone away and done it. We've said, well, this is what we want, this is what we need it to look like, and so, you know, I've always appreciated that.